Hi, I'm Luce. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a massive and very long overdue book haul. So I realised that I have not done a book haul in 6 months. And as someone who buys and just accumulates a lot of books, I have a lot of books to go through in this book haul. I'm looking at the pile. I've made piles of books next to me right here to go through to show you. It's intimidatingly large, and we could be here a while. I will also say with my book hauls, normally I go through and I organize them, so I do like, you know, my subscription box books that were like pre-orders, books that I just bought for myself, whatever. There's no order here. I truly got all these books off my shelves, looked at them and went, no, we're not doing that today. We're just gonna pull and just go through them. I'm also not gonna be giving like in-depth synopsis for any of these, or like going as in-depth showing kind of the special edition kind of features as I normally do in my book hauls, because we will be here for like 3 hours if I do. And I don't have that in me to film for 3 hours. And I don't think anyone wants to watch me for 3 hours. So yeah, we're kind of just gonna be pulling books at random, going through them. There is a mix of my subscription box books, special editions from subscription boxes, like I said, pre-orders, books I bought for myself, and then a couple of Christmas gifts also sprinkled in here as well, because we've had Christmas since I did my last book haul. Yeah, I don't want this video to be any longer than it probably already will be. So I'm kind of just gonna like go straight into the books now. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna show is a book that I got from a new subscription. Well, new since my last book haul. I've had the subscription for like 6 months now, but it is the Smut and Sip subscription, which is a romance subscription of like various different kind of subgenres within the romance genre. So the first one I have here is Blood Oath by Morgan B. Lee. This is I love the Smut and Sip editions. They're always these like naked hardbacks, and they have beautiful end papers. I can't show the back end papers on any of these though, because they are always like NSFW, but this one is, I believe, a reverse harem romantasy with vampires maybe. Because next to each other I have another Smut and Sip one. This is Soul Eater by Lily Mayne. This is on my top books to read for 2026. This is a kind of dystopian military romance that I'm really excited to read. Next one, this is one that I just picked up for myself when I was book shopping with my cousin when he came to visit. This is Betrayal of Storms by Ben Alderson. I have been really interested in reading Ben Alderson's books for a really long time. He writes romantasy. This one I believe is Fae. Next I've got a Fairy Loot special edition. This is, I think, one of the kind of like most well-beloved Fairy Loot special editions that they did last year. I of course have Alchemized by Senlin Yu. My cat is going mental. Jesus. Yeah, Alchemized by Senlin Yu. I love this edition. I have got this also on my top books to read in 2026, but I'm absolutely terrified of this book. Number one, because of how long it is, but also just from what I've heard about it. I feel like this is going to absolutely break my heart. But yeah, this edition is absolutely stunning. I do also have actually the Waterstone special edition of Alchemized, but I'm gonna be so honest, I don't know where it is right now. And I already have enough things to go through. So I do just know that I also have the Waterstones edition. This one was actually a Christmas gift. This one was from my mum. She got me the Wolf King by Lauren Pelfreman. This is a really, really hyped romantasy book that I've seen on BookTok a lot. I believe it is Wolf Shifters. I think there's a love triangle. I also know that a lot of the girlies who I follow, whose book tastes I like really trust, have loved this book, so hopefully I'll love this one. This one, it's not random, but like it feels really random because this is the 4th book in a series I haven't started yet, but I have Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Rorick. The reason that I bought this is because this is the last book in the Legacy series, and I got the indie copy because I have all the other 3 on my shelf somewhere over there in the indie copies as well, and I believe that they're going out of print, the indie copies, and so I needed this one to match. I'm also reading the Lady of Darkness series currently by Melissa K. Rorick, which I am absolutely loving, so I do want to read this one very soon. Baby has come to say hello. Hello, Nico, who's being an absolute terror around my office, but she is very cute, so I will forgive her for it. So I guess she's just going to be perching here for the foreseeable future now. Okay, I'm gonna just let her do her thing back there, so enjoy. But another one that I just picked up for myself, but is a kind of, I guess, kind of special edition. This is On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. This has sprayed edges. I picked this up just in Blackwell's actually. So I don't know, I don't really know what's going on with the sprayed edges, but again, another romantasy book that I've seen people talk about a lot, based on the fact that it's Bloodwing Academy, I believe is in a school setting. I think there's vampires and I think there's dragons. Back to Fairy Loot, I believe that this was the romantasy pick. It is We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. I have heard very good things about Stasia Stark's other series, and so she's an author that I've been like interested to read for a while, but this is her new one. Don't know what it's about. It just says kneel before the god of ruin on the back, which like has me intrigued. And because it's a Fairy Loot edition, of course it is absolutely stunning. Just doing a quick, I'm gonna try and keep it real quick when I'm showing off the editions, but also they need their moment to shine because they're absolutely beautiful. These next two, one of these was a pre-order and the other one was not, but I have Quicksilver and Brimstone by Callie Hart. These are not, I feel like picking up very well with my lighting. Ooh. But these are the new editions. I had this edition of Brimstone pre-ordered, and then I had enough of the like Waterstones points to get this book for free, and I wanted them to match. These are the editions that have like the gilded edges. I will be honest, in general, I don't love these editions. I think that they're pretty, but I don't think that they're like anything special. And like, as much as the original cover was like, I'm gonna be real, kind of ugly, at least it had character. Like these are just, they're also just really not picking up, but they're very bland. I also haven't read Quicksilver. I just pre-ordered because I wanted the gilded edges. But this is a series that I do really want to read this year. This next one genuinely might be my favorite edition of a book that I have bought in a very long time. Like, I love it. I love it so much. It's Twilight by Stephanie Garber. This is one of the anniversary editions. I can't remember which anniversary for Twilight it is, but they came out with like, I think 3 different copies of Twilight. This is the one that I wanted. This one kind of makes it look like a classic. And if I'm not misremembering in some like weird fever dream, I'm sure they've announced an edition of New Moon to match. So I will of course be buying that, but this is the actual kind of naked book. And it has these gilded edges, which are pretty enough like as is. I'm gonna see if I can show this on my camera. If you kind of like, oh, this is really difficult to do, squidge them, you've got Edward on one side of them and then, oh, where is she? Bella on the other. I love this edition, and like I acknowledge all the issues with Twilight, don't get me wrong. This is not a perfect book in any capacity. It's not even, I would say, a good book. But this was like, I read this when I believe I was 12. I read it at like the same time that I read like The Mortal Instruments and the first Throne of Glass book. And so this book will forever have the most special place in my heart. And so to have a gorgeous copy of it like this is like, it makes me so happy. A completely standard edition, I have The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. I've spoken about this series, I think, in like pretty much every video that I've made so far this year, but I read The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons in January. Already one of my favorite books of the year, easy 5-star. This is the sequel, and I am hopefully gonna be reading it in February. I'm very excited to get to it. Okay, these next 3, I might have showed one of these in my previous book haul. I genuinely cannot remember when these shipped, so I can't remember, but I have the like, I don't even know what they're called, the luxe editions, the special editions of some of the Zodiac Academy books. So I got book 1 a lot earlier in the year, and I'm sure that was in my last book haul I did, but I've had 3 more since then, so I am going to show them. Again, I'm not going to go into like loads of detail, but I am going to show them off because they're stunning. So first I have, this is book, I think it's 0.5. This is Zodiac Academy Origins. This is the kind of like prequel novella, and these books are beautifully foiled under the dust jacket, and they have different end paper art on both sides. They do also have a load of page overlays throughout them, but I'm not going to show any of those here just because I feel like some of them could be kind of spoilery. I might not even show the end papers, to be fair, of all of them. Then I have book 2, which is Ruthless Fae. I have the sprayed edges. The sprayed edges also, when you have all the books, they're one of those sprayed edges sets where all the sprayed edges are going to come together to create like a scene, which I'm really excited to see. But then of course we have the foiling, which I feel like is really not picking up with my lighting. I'll just show the back end papers just to like reduce any risk of spoilers, but these editions, like, they are expensive, and I know that when they got announced people had a lot to say about the price of them. Like, the quality of them is so amazing, and like I feel like you genuinely get a lot of like really cool stuff with them, with like the overlays and everything. But then we obviously have book 3, we have Lance on the front, the sprayed edges, beautiful foiling that doesn't really want to pick up very well. The end papers, oh, they are also signed as well. The end papers are signed by both of the authors. And then more character art. I love this series. Like, if you don't know, this is one of my all-time favorite series, but I just love these editions. I think they're so stunning, and I truly appreciate all the work and love that has been put into them. Next one I have is Hot Wax by ML Rio. This is the tour edition. I sadly couldn't actually go to the tour that this was for. I had tickets, I couldn't go because of a lot of personal stuff that was going on, but my darling bestie Ruth did get me the kind of tour copy that went with my ticket. And I'm really excited to read this. I know nothing about it, I just know that I love ML Rio. I've got a couple of Fairy Loot books kind of stacked together, so we're gonna have a little stint of some Fairy Loot copies. But I have Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. Chloe Gong is one of my favorite authors of all time. I have loved pretty much everything that I've read from her, and this is her new, I don't know if it's going to be a duology, a trilogy, I don't know what it's going to be, but it is a YA, like sci-fi, I think kind of dystopian feeling series, and this copy is like truly one of my favorite copies that Fairy Loot has done. I think it is stunning. Then this one was from the Romantasy subscription. This is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. This is one that I have heard a lot about. Like, I know a lot of people were getting arcs for this book, and this one is also, I believe, dystopian. And I mean, I was gonna say I think it's prison setting based on this. I think it is based in a prison. I really like the kind of return to sci-fi dystopian that's kind of happening at the moment. Like, that was very much like a staple when I was a teenager and like I was starting reading, so like I like that it's coming back, but like for a more adult audience. This one is one that, while the edition is beautiful, I'm gonna be so honest, I'm not that interested in reading this book, so this is one that I might be unhauling, but it is Graceless Heart by Isabella Banez. Like I said, the cover is gorgeous, it is really beautiful, but there's just something about this that I'm just not interested in. I think it's like, the foiling is really pretty, but like looking at the end papers, the like time period that it seems to be set in, like the fantastical time period, just doesn't appeal to me. So like I might give this one a go, but it's one that I could see myself unhauling before I even like try it out. She's being very clingy today, which is like very cute, but I'm trying to film, baby. Okay, in contrast, Fairy Loot book that I am very excited for and I put on my top books to read in 2026, I have Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmerer. I again love the editions. Like, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, Fairy Loot editions are like truly insanely gorgeous. Like, they, I feel like, kill it every time with all of their editions. This one is a fantasy that is poly. That's basically all I know about it. Let's just keep going with Fairy Loot because I have quite a lot that are like stacked up together. I have Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah Mughal Rana. This one, I believe, was the adult pick for one of the months. I don't think this was romantic, I think this was adult. I am obsessed with this cover. Like, this is actually one of my favorite Fairy Loot editions to date, and like the naked hardback is insane. Like, this copy, I will never get over it. I truly don't know a single thing about this book. I've heard of it before I got it in my subscription, but just based on this edition, this is one that I think that I'm going to be prioritizing actually quite soon. Another Fairy Loot one that unfortunately I don't know is going to be for me, so this is another one that could be an unhaul. It is Fallen City by Adrienne Young. Again, just something about like the kind of setting that this is giving me, it just doesn't really seem like it's going to be my thing. I have heard a lot of really good things about Adrienne Young, but I don't know, it seems like it's going to be some kind of Greek mythology, and I I only really like Greek mythology, if I'm being honest, if I'm being vulnerable and real. I only really like it in like specifically just romance retellings. Like I love like the Dark Olympus series by Casey Robert, for example. But in like a fantasy kind of setting like this, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't really appeal to me. So yeah, another one that you're gonna just have to ignore the cat. Might be getting rid of this one. But I am very excited about is Tower of the Tyrant by JT Greathouse. This is one that was in the Epic fantasy subscription from Fairy Loot. I hadn't, again, heard anything about it, never seen it before, but like just the vibes of this edition, the aesthetic of it, I want to read it immediately. It looks like the kind of epic fantasy that I would really enjoy. Like I just really love what Fairy Loot does with their epic editions because they feel so different than their normal editions. They just feel different in the way that like I feel like a lot of Fairy Loot editions for like the Romantasy subscription and the waay, whatever, they feel quite like whimsical, whereas these feel like dark and gritty in a way that I really like. Oh, I've got another cat joining the mix. This is absolute chaos. I have 2 cats down here. I have stacks and stacks of books. There's a lot going on in my office right now, but this is I think the last Fairy Loot edition for a little while. I'm gonna take a break from the Fairy Loot editions, but I have the Nightblood Prince by Molly X Chang. This was a YA Fairy Loot pick. I have another Molly X Chang book, I think it's To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, which came in an Illuma crate a couple years ago, and that's one that I do really want to read. And this one, again, I'm excited about this one. I love the aesthetic, I love the edition. All I know is that it's YA. It's kind of giving love triangle, which really intrigues me. This one is another kind of slightly random purchase. I pre-ordered The Bonds of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. I have not read The Blood of Hercules. I need to. I know I need to. My bestie Caitlin loves that book and has been screaming at me to read it for a while. I will read it, and I do have the second one ready to go now. This one I do have the Fairy Loot copy of, but I again, like with the Waterstones edition of Alchemized, I don't know where it is on my shelves. So I'm gonna just show you the Waterstones edition I have. I have Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. This one I think is kind of, I've heard it compared to the Atlas 6, which does scare me because I didn't like the Atlas 6 very much, but it is set, I think, in an academy in hell, and like 6 students are competing for something within the academy. So I am intrigued, just a little bit nervous about Atlas 6 comparisons. Oh, and then my other Jasmine Mass book, this one was a Christmas gift, one of the ones that my dad got me. I have Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Mass. This is also on my top extreme 2026. Spoken about the series a couple times. I did DNF this when I tried to read it last year, not because I didn't like it, I wasn't in the mood for it, so I do want to try it again. Staying with Christmas gifts, these 2 were gifts from my lovely boyfriend. So the first one I have is Better in Black by Cassandra Clare. I am such a Cassandra Clare stan. If you've watched a couple of my videos, you might know this. I am currently rereading the Shadowhunter series. This is a new kind of short story collection. I do have the Kickstarter edition of this as well. This is just the kind of traditional hardback. I don't need this edition, but I am a Cassandra Clare book collector. I have like pretty much every edition of her books that I can get my grubby little hands on. So I wanted the traditional copy as well. And then the other one he got me is Brutal Obsession by S. Massery. This is a dark ice hockey romance. Switching back to Fairy Loot, I do have quite a lot of Fairy Loot editions, so that's why we're getting quite a chunk of them here. But I do have the Waterstones edition, which I'm going to show very briefly, but like I have Metal Singer by Rachel Schneider. This was the Romantasy pick towards the end of last year, I think. Another one that I've heard really good things about, and another one that the naked hardback is so beautiful. The end paper art is cute. It's not like my favorite kind of art style, but I do think it's really cute. And then yeah, very quickly, this is just the Waterstones edition with the really pretty sprayed edge, and then just these also very pretty end papers. Oh, this is another Smut and Sip edition actually. This is Court of Blood and Bindings by Lisette Marshall. I've had this book I think on my TBR for a little while. It's been like on my radar, but I've never actually ended up picking it up. But this edition, it's making me really intrigued. Can I show? No, I can't show the back end papers. Know that they're lovely, but not appropriate for YouTube. I'll keep it going with the Smut and Sip. So this is one that wasn't in my subscription, but I got as kind of like a bonus book, like a scratch and dent edition that they did in like a extra sale. But this is Saint and Sinner by Harmony West. It's a dark stalker romance, that's all I know about it. This, like I said, in like the scratch and dent sale. This was supposed to be the most damaged. The only bit of damage literally is this folded bit at the top. It's in such good condition, and I love a dark stalker romance, so very excited to try this duet out. And then this is the reason that I wanted the subscription in general, but like the reason that I wanted this subscription exactly when I got it was for this book. It's one of my most prized possessions. It's Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I love Heated Rivalry. I have loved Heated Rivalry for like 6 years at this point. It is my favorite contemporary romance book of all time. And when they announced that this was going to be I think it was like their August book, I was like feral. I was like, I need to get off the wait list so I can get this edition. I got off just in time so I could get this beautiful copy. Absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed with it. The end papers are gorgeous. I was gonna say I might be able to show the back ones. Not quite, but again, trust me, they're gorgeous. And then this one, I can never remember the bookshop's name. I think it's After Dark Bookshop is who does these editions. I have hauled 2 of them previously, and I don't think I've hauled this one. I think this one is fresh. But this is the Deception trilogy by Rena Kent. This lighting is not going to be forgiving to the foiling on it, but yeah, they've been doing these bind-ups of Rena Kent series, so I have the Monster trilogy and the Kingdom duet already in these editions. This one is the Deception trilogy. I just really love how these big bind-ups look, and they're also signed by Rena, which, if you, again, have watched my videos before, you will know I'm a Rena Kent stan. I love her books. She's like my favourite dark romance author ever, so to have books signed by her is amazing. But also, yeah, I love having these bind-ups of her books on my shelves. Then I have a set from Fae Crate. I believe hauled the first 4 books in this series in another haul, but I have, oh my god, books 5, 6, 7 and 8 of the Duskwalker Bride series by Opal Rain. They are in this like super shiny holographic box, and I do still have these editions in the plastic, truly just because I can't be bothered to like go through and unwrap all of them. But I will just show you this one here. This one is book 5. This is A Soul to Revive. This, if you haven't heard of this series, is a monster romance series. It is about humans falling in love with these creatures, these Duskwalkers. I have read the first 2 books. I loved book 1, was not a fan of book 2, but I'm very excited to continue on with the series, and I love these editions. I think they are absolutely stunning. I think we have to go back to Fairy Loot, because again I have 50 million Fairy Loot editions because I have a problem. I have too many Fairy Loot subscriptions. But this was another YA pick from them. This is Thorn Season by Kiara Azar. Beautiful copy. You already know I'm gonna say it's gorgeous. Do I know what this one is about? No, truly no idea. Based on just kind of the vibe, it's giving like Bridgerton-y mixed with like Once Upon a Broken Heart. That's the extent of the vibes that I'm getting, but I don't know. What I will say is I feel like I'm really in the mood for YA fantasy at the moment, so I feel like this could be one that I pick up soon. This one was a romantasy pick from summer of last year, but it is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. I have read 2 books in another series by Elise Kova. I don't know what the series is called. The first one is Alchemist of Loom, and I really loved that. I read those books years ago. I need to finish the trilogy, but I really enjoyed Elise Kova's writing, and I know she has a lot of series at this point, so I do want to try out more of her books, and this one, I'm assuming, based on Arcana Academy, is some kind of academic setting, which I really love in my fantasy. This one's actually an Illumicrate book. I think this is the last Illumicrate book that I got before I cancelled my subscription, but it is Voidwalker by S.A. McLean. I read part of S.A. McLean's book The Phoenix Keeper last year, and I did DNF it because I wasn't really enjoying it. This one This one gives monster romance, which I won't lie, I'm very intrigued about. Like, this guy, he's giving demon, he's giving monster. That's all I know about it. But I am very intrigued. I have, I think, 2 Fairy Loot sequels here. The first one is Wrath of the Damned by Ella Fields. This is the sequel to, ooh, what is it? Nectar of the Wicked. And I did like that book. I think I gave it like a 3.5. I believe this is just a duology. I also really like these editions. I think they're really pretty. This is a kind of like darker fantasy romance with fae. And yeah, like I said, not my favorite, but like it was really quick to get through, and I do really like the way that Ella Fields writes. And then the other one that I have is The Nightshade God by Hannah Witten. This is the 3rd and final book in the, I don't know what the series is called. The first one is The Foxglove King. I actually finished my reread of The Foxglove King a couple of days ago. Really love it. Just never continued on with the series, but I now have books 2 and 3 in these Fairy Loot editions. And this is a romantasy series that, like, it's technically not like anything super new or special, but I just really like it, and it feels kind of fresh and unique to me. I believe we are also going to get a poly relationship in this, which I'm very excited about. Back to Christmas gifts. I have Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. My mum actually got me this. This is the first book in the, what is it called? The Vipers series? I'm not sure. It's her new series. It's a dark ice hockey romance series. Listen, if Rena's writing it, I'm going to be buying it. And I've heard really good things about this one. Like, I know some of her more recent releases people have been a little bit kind of like meh about, but this one I feel like universally pretty much everyone liked. One I bought for myself when I was, again, book shopping with my cousin. I got The Starless Crown by James Rollins, another one that's on my top book street for 2026. I said in my top books for 2026, I don't know anything about this one. The only reason I ended up picking this book up is because I had seen it so many times when I had been book shopping, and I like the cover. And I just kind of cracked last year, and I decided it's finally time. It's also so floppy, like delightfully floppy paperback. I believe this is a kind of like sci-fi fantasy. Another beloved book talk romantasy, I have Diabound by Sable Sorensen. This one I believe is also Wolf Shifters. This is like the pretty first printing special edition, I think. I didn't get the one with the sprayed edges, but I did still get like the nice hardback and the reverse dust jacket. Truly, the order of these books really is chaotic. I probably should have organized it because I'm back to Christmas gifts. I have The Entanglement of Rival Wizards by Sarah Roche. This was a gift from my lovely friend Claudia. I've spoken about Sarah Roche's romance quite a lot recently, I feel like. I've loved her other romance series, the Nightmare Before Christmas series. This is a new one that she's doing, which is like academic magical school type of thing. And this one is a Rivals to Lovers. A very recent Fairy Loot one, actually. This was January's romantasy pick, I believe. King of Ravens by Claire Sager. I have been really interested in reading Claire Sager, but I have never actually got around to it. This one I don't believe is related to any of her other series. I think this is a new series. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And yeah, I don't know, it's a pretty edition. Maybe I should look more into what books are about before I do book hauls, but I don't know. I've also seen like kind of mixed opinions on this naked hardback. I actually really like it. It gives me very like anime vibes, which I don't necessarily think that that's the vibe of the book, but like I'm already really into this man just based on this. This is another of the Fairy Loot epic fantasy ones. We have the Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford. This again could be one that I potentially unhaul. It looks dragony, lizardy, which is not my vibe. It's really not my vibe. I'm sure it's good, but I don't know. Again, the aesthetic of it just isn't really calling to me. But I do think they did a really good job with the edition. Next I have my Catabasis, how I don't really know how to say the title of the book, but my collection of this book by R.F. Kuang. I do also have another edition that I will be getting in the summer because my cousin got it for me at an R.F. Kuang signing in Canada. So I'm gonna have the like North American edition as well, which I'm very excited to have in my collection. But I have this is just the standard Waterstones edition, so it has pretty sprayed edges and then pretty but like kind of standard end papers. The Illumicrate edition, which is in this slipcase, which I think is so gorgeous. The naked hardback is stunning. And then we have really, really cool foiled end papers. And then the Fairy Loot edition, which is the standard cover just in this like kind of soft pink kind of color, which I think is really pretty with the edges, the naked hardback and end papers. I love all three editions that I have of this book. I think that they are all really different, but all kind of like, well, I was gonna say fit the vibe. I haven't read the book yet, but like fit what I imagine the vibe is gonna be for this book. Illumicrate copy, I have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. This was one of my favorite books of last year. I loved this book. I'm also really mad because I didn't order a copy of the Fairy Loot edition of this book. And I think it's stunning and I love this book. So I do think that I'm gonna have to like be on the hunt for like a secondhand edition that's not being sold for like extortionate prices because I think I need it. I think I need it for my collection. I think that this was adult Fairy Loot from like summer of last year. I have Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is one that I will say I was not super bothered about when it arrived, but I have since heard a lot of good reviews about it. So it's kind of like piqued my interest a little bit. And the only thing I know about this one is that the FMC is a dancer. Let's mix it up again and do some Danmei that I bought. If you have not been on my channel before and you haven't heard me talk about Danmei is Chinese boys love novels. I am a very big fan of this genre and I have been expanding my collection a decent amount over the last kind of year or so. So the first ones that I have are Legend of Exorcism volumes 1 and 2. This is one that I like found out about when I was just kind of like scrolling on TikTok and I saw that there was this girl who was like kind of screaming about this series and saying how much she really loved it. I really don't know much about it, but like the kind of like top line of the synopsis says, 2 fates entwined, 1 dangerous mission. I also love the covers, and every time I talk about Danmei, I mention this, that they do have illustrations throughout the books as well, so I'm gonna try and find one. And they all have like different art styles, and I think the one in this is really, really gorgeous. Then I have volumes 2 and 3 of Case File Compendium. I have actually read volume 2. I'm gonna be reading volume 3 very soon. This one, listen, I really like this series, but like this one I would say is not for the faint of heart. Like some of the other Danmei that I see getting recommended, like one of my favorites, Heaven Official's Blessing, it's like, it has like some darker things in it, don't get me wrong, but it's like the relationship is very like sweet and wholesome and like lots of yearning. This one's fucked up. Like I was reading kind of the end of volume 2, I think like last weekend, and I was like, there was a lot going on and I didn't really know how to feel about it. I do like this series though. If you want something that's a little bit more like toxic and like more dark romance feeling for Danmei, this is probably the series for you. But check your trigger warnings for this one, I'd recommend. And this last one I have is actually not Danmei, it is Baihe. Baihe is Chinese girls' love. It is the first one that I have in my collection and it's also on my top books to read in 2026. But it is The Beauty's Blade. I believe this is enemies or like rivals to lovers. And I honestly bought this because I was just really excited to see like a sapphic book in this genre. And I, again, really like the art style on this one. We'll be reading this one hopefully very soon. I have then got Paladin's Strength by T. Kingfisher, again on my top books to read in 2026. Sequel to Paladin's Grace, one of my favorite books of last year. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in these recent videos, so if you have watched all of them, my apologies. But sequel to Paladin's Grace, cozy romantasy. Oh, then I also completely forgot, my dad actually got me book 3 as well for Christmas, which is Paladin's Hope. This one is an MM, so yeah, I have books 2 and 3 in this series. I guess I'll finish off the Fairy Loot edition, so I have 4 more of those. First one I have here is The Swan's Daughter by Roshani Chokshi. I don't know how much I want to read this one. I have loved a book from Roshani Chokshi before. I loved The Lost Tale of the Flower Bride. And I've also read the what's it called? The Gilded Wolves trilogy, which I liked the first book and then I really didn't like books 2 and 3. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not that keen to like read more of her YA. I mean, the edition is gorgeous. It just, I don't know. This one seems very light and fluffy and sweet, which nothing wrong with that, just not something that I feel like I'm gravitating towards nowadays. A YA that I am gravitating towards nowadays though is Seven Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton. This one, like, just based off of the art, like I'm gonna just go straight into showing you this book, the end papers. This gives me Hermione, and like I have said this before, I myself am not really a Hermione shipper, but like I like the kind of dynamic there. And I don't know, this one like really intrigues me. I think that this copy is absolutely stunning. I'm getting Rivals to Lovers, I'm getting Academic, and it's really short, so I think that I could fly through this. I believe these two were both adult picks from Fairy Loot. I have Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This is Stephanie Garber's first adult kind of book, although I have heard from people who have read it that like it doesn't feel like necessarily that different from her YA, but I'm not mad about that because I love Stephanie Garber's books. I loved the Caraval trilogy and I really loved the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, so I am excited to see what this one is like. And this last Fairy Loot edition, this was actually one of my most anticipated books of last year, and it is Savage Blooms by S.T. Gibson. S.T. Gibson is one of my favourite authors of all time, and I remember when I went to a signing of hers, I think it was in 2024 it was, where she was talking about this book and she was saying that this one is very smutty. This one I believe is like polyamorous, kind of a lot of kink involved. I think there's like witchy stuff going on. Honestly, I will just read anything that S.T. Gibson writes at this point. Okay, we are genuinely nearly there. So the last couple of Christmas presents that I had start from my dad still. So I have The Exorcism of Fairies by J.L. Vamper. This one is, I think, dark academia, professor student, set in Ireland. I don't know if there's actually any, if there is actually any kind of like witchy paranormal stuff in here or if it's just the vibes, but I know that Bailey really likes this one. And then yeah, the last two from my dad were Salt Kiss and Honeycut by Sierra Simone. These are the first two books in the Lioness trilogy, and this is a spicy kind of polyamorous series. Then I have, these are two books that I bought because the indie editions are going out of print. So I have City of Souls and Sinners and City of Lies and Legends by Kayla Edwards. These are books 2 and 3 in the House of Devils, that's the series, the House of Devils series. I have read book 1, which is City of Gods and Monsters, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, so I wanted books 2 and 3 in the indie editions to match. I know that book 4 you can get in the indie edition, but in the UK at least, I can't find it anywhere. So I am still trying to find a copy, but as of right now, have no idea where I can get one from. And then the last kind of like individual book I have is Tusk Love by Taya Guanzon. I don't really know what this book is. This book, truly, I kind of just bought, number one because I love the cover, but like this, I believe, is based off of a fictional book that exists within the Critical Role, like D&D universe. I myself am not a Critical Role girly, I am a Dimension 20 D&D girly. I believe that Tusk Love is a book that has been like made up and referenced within the Critical Role campaign a lot, and then Taya Guanzon wrote the actual version of the book. I don't really know. And something I love about this copy is the reverse of the dust jacket has this cover, which is kind of like what the cover would be like in the Critical Role universe. I just think it's so cool. I have no idea if I'm gonna like this, but just the fact that this exists, I just find so intriguing. Actually lied, I do have one more individual book. This is Sweet Wicked Thing by Jessie Walker. I actually got this book because I am part of Jessie Walker's Patreon. So this one is actually signed, and I am such a big Jessie Walker fan. I have had one of their books in my top books of the year for the past 2 years, and this is a new, I believe, duology following Foster Brothers. and I'm very intrigued and very excited about it. Okay, and then actually onto the last books I have. There are two like book sets that I got, one from Illuma Crate, one from Fairy Loot. So the first one that I have is the Fairy Loot one. This is the, oh my god, ugh, the Lady of Darkness set. These are the first 3 books, and like I said earlier, I am currently reading the Lady of Darkness series. I am on Lady of Ashes book 3 and I am loving it. Hardbacks have this kind of like basic foil design, and then the end papers are the same on the front and the back of the books. Then Lady of Shadows have the foiling and the pretty end papers. And then yeah, my current read, Lady of Ashes. I am truly, like, I have said this before when I've spoken about the series, I liked the first one. The first one was like decent. I think it was like a 3.5 for me. I really liked the fourth one, and I am obsessed with the third one. Like, I am so invested in it. I literally had to like force myself to go to bed last night because all I wanted to do was carry on reading the series. The final books of this massive haul are maybe my favorite books, like my favorite editions that I have hauled over the last 6 months. I have the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. These are the Illuma Crate editions, and these are insanely gorgeous. Like, I had like, genuinely, I'm not exaggerating, I had chills when I opened these the first time. I love the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I have read the Farseer trilogy and the Live Ship Traders trilogy. I am currently on the, oh, I can't think what it's called, the third trilogy. And I love it, but I had to take a break because I was like, my feelings were getting hurt by it. I am really hoping that Illuma Crate will do the rest of the Realm of the Elderling series, like the Robin Hobb books in these editions, because they're just so stunning. We have Royal Assassin, which is my personal favorite book in the trilogy. I think that the printed hardbacks are so pretty, but I feel like they almost make this series look like cozier than it actually is. This series, if you are interested in reading it, I would highly recommend it. But I will warn you, it will hurt you a lot. Robin Hobb truly has a way, unlike any other author that I've read, of making her characters suffer, but like I still love the books. And yeah, this is Assassin's Quest. This is the third and final one. Oh, we have Fitz's little cabin and the end papers. Okay, we are finally at the end of this fucking book haul. I will definitely not be going 6 months between book hauls again because like my throat hurts from talking so much. Like, I have been filming for an hour and a half I have been filming this video for. So hopefully editing me has managed to condense this down quite a bit. Otherwise that's entirely too long. But if you did make it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to give it a like, subscribe if you feel like it, and hopefully I will see you in a new video again soon. Bye!